I'm going to share with you guys 14 ways to read books for free or for cheap. 14 ways to read books for free or for cheap. Now, here's the thing. I love reading books. It's probably not a shocker. You've probably seen me talk about books many times. I love buying books. For me, books are my designer shoes. So instead of buying several pairs of shoes, I go out and buy several books. And that's kind of my thing. I'd rather wear the same shoes for 10 years and then just buy books. That's my splurge. That's my luxury. I'm obsessed. But I know that there are seasons of life where books aren't always in the budget. And we have to be honest about that. That's part of the reason why every single month in my book club, I give away 10 free copies of whatever book we're reading to 10 people who are in need of a free book, because I get that life is expensive and sometimes books are too. So I want to support you guys with some resources that are all, to the best of our knowledge, legally sourced, honoring authors, etc. So here's 14 ways to read books for free or for cheap. And if you're excited about this, comment below and let me know that you're stoked. Give this some likes because we're going to dive on in. These are 14 ways to read books for free or for cheap. And for those of you who are like, well, where do I just buy books in general? Let me just quick answer this. There are really 4 major places that you can buy most books. And those 4 are, number 1, local bookstores. Those could be locally owned bookstores. Those could also be national bookstores, etc. Number 2 is on Amazon. That's where I get most of my books, is Amazon. Number 3 is Audible, if you like to listen to books. And number 4 is Kindle. So if you like to read your books on ebooks. So those are the 4 places: local bookstores, Amazon, Audible, and Kindle. But now let's talk about the 14 ways that you can read books for free or for cheap. Drop some likes if you're excited about this, because I'm excited. I nerd out even talking about books. Now, what's really wild is the resources that I'm going to share with you. I don't search for free books anymore, but I do search for good bargains. I love getting books on a bargain. It's one of my favorite things to do. So let's talk about this, okay? So here are the 14 ways to read books for free or cheap. The first 10 are going to be free, okay? Number 1 is your local library. You can actually, a lot of people don't know this, but you can actually request that your library bring a book in. So if there's a specific book that you want, you can request that they bring that book in, and you may get on a wait list, but oftentimes you can get the books that you're looking for specifically. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2 is Scribed, and that's Scribd. Scribed is a great place to get a ton of different books. I'm pretty sure they're PDF format, I want to say, and that could be a really great way to get books for free or almost free. Number 3 is Kindle Unlimited. Now, this is really nice for ebooks. Some people love ebooks. I read them once in a while, especially when I'm feeling impatient for a book to come on in. So Kindle Unlimited is awesome because many books are available on Kindle Unlimited, and it's a great way to get a ton of books in, especially if you're in a particular season where you want to read a ton, but you don't have a ton of funds for books. So number 4 is Open Library, and this has been described to me. I'm pretty sure that Open Library is like a digital virtual library site, which is pretty cool, I think, at least. Let me know so far if these 4 are already serving you, because a lot of people don't know that there's Kindle Unlimited and that Scribed is an option. Number 5 is Google Books. They mostly have ebooks, which you can add to your library, kind of like a Kindle library or an Audible library. So it's kind of a neat resource, especially if you're in a busy season of life. Number 6 is Open Culture. Number 7 is, I already said this, but Open Library. There we go. Number 8 is Project Gutenberg. Number 9 is the Library of Congress. And number 10, and this is kind of a neat one that a lot of people don't think about, is trading books with friends. Now, I know this one can be a little hard. For example, I have a hard time letting go of books, but you can write your name and all your details in a book and do trades with your friends. So if you have a couple books that you like to read, you could technically end up with the unlimited chain of books especially with local friends, so you don't have to pay for shipping. I also know that some neighborhoods, depending on where you live, have like little mini libraries, or you could talk to your neighbors and say, hey, would you be up for a book trade or something of that matter? My actual goal at some point is to have an amazing library at some point. We'll see how that turns out. Real fast, if any of those are ones that you're gonna try, go ahead and like this video, comment below and let me know which of these you're like, oh, I'm totally gonna check this out. Now let's talk about 4 ways to get books for cheap, because some of these are my absolute favorite. The 4th one of these is by far my favorite, okay? So you guys ready? So these are ways to get books for cheap. Now, I'm gonna be super clear. I use these to this day. I always will. I love discounts and bargains on books. And so what's awesome is, like a book could cost $15, $20, $30, right? Well, when you get a book on a discount or used, yes, it might have like a couple bent over corners or like some highlighting in the book, but oftentimes you can get books for half off all the way down to $1 per book. So instead of spending $20 for one book, you can get 20 books for $20. So $1 per book. And so that's a resource that I used quite a bit when I was a single mom. And guess what? When I'm in the mood to bargain hunt, I'd still do this, okay? So here we go. Here are the 4 that are discounted or cheaper book options and resources, okay? Number 1, a lot of people don't realize that when you're searching on Amazon, there's an option for used copies of the book. So you can always do this, and it's awesome. Now, the only time I don't do this is if there's a book where I really particularly want to support the author, like extra, and I'm like, this person has impacted my life so much, or I love their books and I already know this is gonna be awesome, that I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna just go full price. But used on Amazon is a great option. The second option is used bookstores. So there are used bookstores in many cities and states and regions. Used bookstores are awesome because they can be 50% off for a book, so your book budget can go twice as far. Number 3 is Kindle. Kindle sometimes has discounted books, which is awesome. And I'm about to share my secret, so I really hope not too many people live in Minnesota and do this and take all of the books. Real fast, if you've gotten value already so far, drop a like and let me know if you're excited about these, because I am for sure. So my 4th option for free or cheap books, they are almost free, is Goodwill. Now, there's several different ways that you can go about this. Of course, there are other stores like Goodwill, but Goodwill has a really great book system, and I used this when I was a single mom, and I still to this day use this almost monthly. So when you go to a Goodwill, there's one of 2 things that happen. Either you can buy books at the price tag on the books, like I think I actually have one right here that I can pull up. Many of my books have actually been bought from bookstores when I'm not looking for a specific book. So let's get this pulled up. So this book in particular, I just happen to know it still has the sticker because I sometimes remove the stickers. This book in particular was one of my good friends recommended to me. I have not read it yet. I've actually read little parts of it, and it's called The Dance of Anger. So if I had bought this online, this book might have been probably between $9 and $19 for this paperback version. This one in particular, you can see it right there. Can you see that okay? It is $1.99 from Goodwill. So even just as is, their pricing is amazing for used books when you're in seasons where you can't afford full price books or it's not a priority in your budget. But ready for this? There's several more hacks that you can use. I used these in many seasons of my life. The first hack is if you donate, they give you like a 20 or a 25% off coupon. So if you're gonna buy, let's say 10 books, it would be $19.99 or so, right? $19.99. And then what's so powerful is 25% off takes off $2.50 for every 10 bucks you spend, which is pretty cool. So that's a great way to stretch your budget and make it go a little further without limiting your ability to have access to books. But there's a second part as well, and you'll want to get used to your local Goodwill's routines. But what is really cool about this is once in a while they have these book sales, and they often do them every day depending on your region and how many books they get. But they'll basically say like, yellow books are $1 or sometimes even, and I'm not all the time, but this is when I go crazy because it's just so fun. I should actually buy books for other people when this happens. but they have this thing where it's 10 books for $1 if they're a certain color. So the sticker color is what determines when they go on sale. So you have to find out what different days are, and you can sometimes call and find out like what days are your books discounted, what does the pattern look like for the different discounts for days for different sticker colors. And then that way you can plan your shopping accordingly. Like sometimes on Thursdays, it'll say all yellow books are $1. And then of course you're gonna hunt for yellow books. And then books that are full price are gonna be somewhere between like 99 cents and $2-3. So it's already an amazing deal. But then when the books go down to 10 books for $1, I load up. Which is partly why I've been able to get so many books in seasons of my life where it didn't make sense to get tons of books. Now, I don't really do the sticker deals as much anymore. It served me in that season of life, but more so what I'll do now is I'll look through the bookshelves for best-selling books. And that's one of my favorite things to do is like searching and saying like, oh, I saw this book on a recommended list, or, you know, so-and-so talked about this book, or, oh, this sounds like a great title, or I know who that author is. So I'll pull books and I get books that are at the top or on the bestseller charts while they're still on the charts, which is really, really cool. And I understand that that doesn't directly support authors, but I want to be super clear about something because I am an author and I am becoming a fully published, signed author. I guess I'm technically signed, but I'm not published yet, but I have signed with a publishing house. I think about this, and when I was a single mom on welfare and books weren't a huge part of our budget, one of the things that I would do is I would buy books in freedom, and then as our budget grew, I'd buy more books to support that author because I was like, I'm so grateful for the things that you empowered me with, or the encouragement that you brought, or the tools that were in your book. So I'm a huge fan of paying it forward and actually paying it back to the authors that I've bought books from when I was on welfare and food stamps, and then also from the seasons of our lives where we didn't have a ton of money. So there's an interesting dance, and I think it's great to have books that are accessible and affordable for everybody. Comment below and let me know which of these you're going to use. Did you find this helpful? And I'm super excited for you because you're going to be reading a ton. I will catch you later. Bye for now.